Dungeons and Dragons official Discord overrun by woke activists who say D&D is so gay and call anti-woke players bigots online. Dungeons and Dungeons and Dragons has received a lot of attention for its denigration of its own property in recent days by woke activists inside Wizards of the Coast. With a look inside the official D&D Discord server, the woke seem to be all the customers they have left. I'll believe it. I mean, not universally, but for the most part, probably because this whole woke ideology, as each generation emerges, they're more bought into it. If even by a percent, they're more bought into it, and they've been pushing this since technically that I know of, even since the 70s, but in an extremely light kind of way.
Yeah.
And then it really after 2015, maybe they just piled on. They just threw the whole load on there.
Yeah, it went insane after 2015.
The 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide infamously has incorporated BDSM fetish community practices into the game. I've done a video on that. For safe spaces, having players make an X with their arms if they feel triggered by a situation requiring a DM to stop a game and address the player in question. Yeah,
That
you
is
would
sad.
you would occasionally have the emotional player, but most of everybody like couldn't stand it, and they just tried to exclude them from ever even knowing about the game. I guess it's flipped entirely
Yeah.
now.
I mean,
One
cause
D one D&D race has also had its entire history removed to get rid of slavery. And then there's the constant push to humanize orcs. One image even portrays the orcs as a family of Mexicans. That sounds racist to me,
that is very racist.
making for a completely insulting depiction of Latinos in the name of diversity. Yeah, I agree. This week, Dungeons and Dragons came under further scrutiny after it was revealed senior designer Jason Tondro pinned a forward to a history book on Dungeons and Dragons calling Gary Gygax misogynist and accusing him of cultural appropriation. That sounds like that's the very things he's doing.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, like
why?
making the orcs Mexican, and making cooking a big thing and gays a big thing. Everything he's accusing the original creator, or co-creator of doing, he is doing himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, it's just, I can't even put into words what I think about it. I mean,
This
what were they thinking?
this prompted Elon Musk to beg the question as to how much Hasbro cost for him to buy the parent company of Wizards of the Coast and save Dungeons and Dragons from all of these woke controversies. Inside the official D&D Discord server, however, all the sanity has evaporated. With normal players exiting the game in droves, it seems that all that's left in the woke activists they were signaling to. So yeah, this goes on about how they're kind of mocking Elon Musk, and some of them are scared. It's like, hell yeah, you should buy it. I would love to see that. I mean, I don't think he'd be perfect about things, but he would be way better than this.
Yeah, that's the damn truth. I mean, it's bad when regular people that aren't woke activists are leaving a game that's been around for decades in droves, and now that all that's left is these idiots that want to make it all about the fact that they don't know what gender they are and all this kind of bullshit. It's just bullshit. There goes another great cultural icon dead because of the woke mind virus.
Fandom Pulse obtained several screenshots of people complaining about Elon Musk and wondering if D&D is actually even woke enough. What? How can it get more woke? So I heard rumors going around that Elon Musk rat is buying D&D, one user said. Another with he, they pronouns called Musk petty and whiny on social media before complaining about bigots online. they throw these words around, anybody that slightly variates from their trained way of thinking is a bigot and and all such other words that go along with that.
Yeah. They ought to be ashamed of themselves.
A third user says, but D&D is like nature, so gay. And then said, every person I played with was so queer. Whoa, I don't know what game they were playing. But that doesn't seem like D&D that I ever known.
No.
And I played way back in the mid 80s.
Oh, that has been a long time. But this is just sad. It's just sad.
Very sad. One such player came to Phantom Pulse privately, voicing his concern that if he spoke up in the D&D official Discord, he would likely be banned for voicing contrary opinions to the woke. I sometimes pop in the official D&D Discord. The old-time D&D players said I searched Elon to see what the general consensus was about the thought of him buying out Hasbro. What a mess it is in here. You can't even talk about Elon in the general chat without someone shutting you down and trying to change the subject. You can't bring up rumors or talk about it in there. What a mess. It appears as if the woke players are all that's left for Dungeons and Dragons in this new edition, which means Wizards of the Coast likely will only double down in new installments in the future.
I can't.
I am not good at reading these articles.
I can't begin to describe what this is going to mean for a lot of different things that use D&D as a base for their stuff.
Well, yeah, there are alternatives, but they're headed in the same direction. Unfortunately, they've got their hooks into the youth. Like I said, every generation comes along buys at least 1% more into the woke mind virus, which is, I use an umbrella term. There's a lot of ways I could describe what's happening. But one thing we cannot deny is that it is happening.
Yeah.
And it's happening through essentially blackmail. If you shame and threaten and ban anyone who thinks different, of course you're going to be like, everybody thinks and feels this way. Yeah, because you threatened, shamed, and banned anyone who didn't.
Yeah.
And doxed and you name it. Tried to fight and report it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are blind to their own BS. Not just blind, but that blind.
Yeah, I know. What's it going to take for things to but to go back to the way where, okay, if you're gay, that's okay and whatever, but you didn't try to change everybody's point of view with it.
Okay, back in the 80s, I remember playing D&D, and it was kind of a point of pride because it took intelligent people to play it. It took oftentimes skilled people because people I played with, they like to draw their own characters and their own adventure storyline and maps and everything with it. And they were indeed a talented bunch of people. And occasionally the subject of gay would come up. They know somebody's gay, and back then it was a rarity. They didn't go, ew, we gotta bash them. If anybody said that, I'd be like, no, you don't think about it like that. That's just the way they are. And you let it go. And then nobody ever put another thought into it. Gayness wasn't worn like a badge of honor or a badge of authority, either one. Now it is, and now they're using it to destroy, well, essentially culture. They are destroying culture.
Yeah, that's true. They're destroying everybody else's culture. And I think that the more it goes on, something's going to have to give, else nobody's going to have any kind of culture left at all.
Yeah, and I'm not speaking of white culture. I'm speaking of culture of the human race, in particular of the USA, because this happens to be where we are, and it also happens to be a gigantic area with a lot of money to throw around, which goes towards movements like they have and influences people indirectly and directly.
But I think that the it if something don't change pretty soon, it's going to be a crime to be straight and white, or especially a straight white male, or on down the line, it's going to be a crime to be a straight white female or a natural born female.
Well, it's like
Period.
I like to say, they're like the Ouroboros. They keep going around and I suppose constricting onto themselves until they will eat their own tail and devour their own. There's not going to be anybody left. Sure, new generations will pop up to replace them after they've already sufficiently shamed their own and maybe turned them, I don't know, turn them conservative, turn them something, turn them into bitter old people, whatever the case may be. It's just ugly. It's dog eat dog, so to speak.